Hi, this is Mike, and I'm here to talk to you about ice melts and sand for the winter time. As we've all experienced, ice melts are very important on our sidewalks and our driveways, along with some additional sand in real icy situations to provide a safe walking environment around our homes. I want to talk to you about the different types because there's a lot of them out there, and it can be very difficult to choose which one you want to put down. If you go strictly on price, the cheapest one you probably don't want to use that much of. And the most expensive one, well, if you got the money to spend, go ahead, but there are a lot of options. So let's go over some of them now. First, we'll start with kind of the standard. This is rock salt, sodium chloride. This is what they've been using for years to melt ice. What we're going to look at as we look at these different melts is the temperature that they're melting down to. So in Fahrenheit, this one melts down to plus 5 degrees Fahrenheit. Anything below that, the water is apt to refreeze into ice. The problem with the refreezing is not just that it becomes slippery, but during the day, when the sun's hitting it, everything begins to melt, turns into water, seeps down into the surface of the ground or the walkway or the driveway, finds cracks, and then at nighttime, when it drops down and gets very cold, it refreezes and expands, and it pops those cracks open even a little bit further. And that's how we end up cracking up our sidewalks or our steps and our driveways. So what we want to do is try and prevent that from happening. So when we're looking at the ice melts, look at the temperature that it's melting down to. So melting down to 5 degrees Fahrenheit is telling me that this is not an effective melter. This is best used in situations where we're looking to melt snow and we know it's not going to be that cold. So for instance, very early in the snow season, when it's still fairly warm, this can be a good product to use, and it's inexpensive. Late in the snow season, in March or April, this once again can be a good product because we know that it's not going to get too cold. We'll look at the forecast before we use this. We go over to this product here. This is a blend. There are a lot of different blends out on the market. This one here will melt down to -7 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's a better ice melter. This one is a mixture of sodium chloride and magnesium chloride. Together, they reduce that temperature that it melts down to, so it makes it a better product. The next one down the line here is a pet-safe product. One of the things that we notice with pets is that when they come inside, they'll lick their paws, whether it's a cat or a dog, and we don't want them ingesting anything that's going to hurt them. So for instance, if we were using rock salt, the sodium chloride is not necessarily good for their system in large quantities. So this is a safer product for pets. It comes in bags. You can also get it in shakers. A lot of these are available in shakers. Just a convenient way to take the product out to the stairs and to spread the product onto the stairway so you're not moving a big bag around. This one down here, to be honest with you, this is what I use at home. It's called Inferno. This is the only product that I use in my house for two reasons. One is that it melts down to -22 degrees Fahrenheit. Because of that, it's exceptionally good at melting in very cold temperatures. The other reason I like this product is that it has a blue vegetable dye in it, so I can see where I've spread it. There's no second guessing, so I'm not over applying it or under applying it. I can tell exactly where I've put this product down, and that's a good thing. When it comes to using this, you can also put this down before the snow falls, before it's actually even touched the ground. And what it'll do is it'll work as soon as the snow comes down and lands on the surface. It'll begin to melt it, and it'll help prevent it from icing immediately on the surface if you have a cold ground. Taking these and spreading them is another issue. What's the best way to spread them? You can use a variety of different things. This is a spreader. You would use this in your garden or your lawn, but you can also use it for your ice melt. It just has a crank on it and a trigger pull, and it'll just help you to broadcast it out. This here is a scoop, and actually can be remarkably effective. Nice thing is there's no moving parts to break, and you just fill it up, scoop it up, and then just take it and shake it and walk along and spread it like that. Again, with the blue pigmented ice melt, it's particularly nice because you can see where you've actually put the product. There is another ice melt out there called calcium chloride. Calcium chloride has slightly better melting properties than the Inferno. It goes down to -25 instead of -22. The calcium chloride is usually found in two forms. It's either a flake or it's in a pellet. Nowadays you see it more in the pellet form, a little round ball. And that's a very good ice melt. The nice thing about that is when you broadcast it, it kind of bounces along and spreads out evenly over your driveway, which is kind of nice. The problem with this particular product, and you just need to be aware of it, is it's what's called hydrophilic. It pulls water out of the air, and it will actually sit in the bottom of the pail that you're keeping the ice melt in. The ice melt that particular ice melt, the calcium chloride, will actually get rock hard if it gets wet. So as it sucks that water in, it'll begin to harden up. And once it's gotten hard, once it's turned into a rock, you cannot break it up. It's not effective for anything really. You just end up throwing it away. So just be aware of that. Keep it tightly sealed if you end up using that product. And but it does have good melting properties. Next would be sand. You know, putting these things down is great. It melts up the ice and the snow, but we want to sometimes get some additional traction. This particular sand I've got here is what's called an airport sand. Airport sand is, you might consider a clean sand. It's been washed. It doesn't have too small a particle in it. And the nice thing about that is that when people track it or walk through it, it doesn't collect like mud on the bottom of their feet like some of the unclean, the dirty sands, so to speak, or the traction sands will do. The idea here really is just to give you something for your foot to bite onto so you're not going to slip on the ice. Yeah, you take one of these, throw it by the doorway so you could just toss it on the walkway when you get home from work or before you go to work. Maybe throw one in the back of your car in case you get stuck somewhere and your tires are spinning. Throw a handful or so underneath your drive tires, and it's amazing how you can just zip right out of a tough spot. So hopefully you won't have to worry about that and you'll have a snow-free winter, but here in New England we know that won't happen. We know we're going to get some snow, so these are some ways to deal with it. Thank you very much.